In this video, I'm going to walk you through a custom Wordmark design for one of the coolest brands I've had the privilege of working on. The goal of this company was to build a generational business. They wanted to build a brand that would last hundreds and hundreds of years. That's a very difficult thing to do because not very many companies last for hundreds of years and their brands change even faster. So I'm excited to talk about this project and walk you through step by step how I created this Wordmark design. And along the way, I'm going to tell you why I made the design decisions that I made. So let's dive into the video. When you begin designing a brand, the first step is to understand the principles behind the brand that you're building. Why are you building the identity that you're trying to craft? In addition, Janzen Corp is a family company, so we needed to understand what the personality and the culture and the heritage of this family was so we could accurately reflect that and build that into the brand identity. After long discovery meetings and conversations about the vision for this company in the future, I set to work creating different styles for what I felt this brand should reflect. We're not going to talk about all of the different design styles and decisions that we made along the way because this is particularly about the logo identity, but what you should know is that this was the brand style that we settled on. The family was an entrepreneurial family with Dutch heritage and an Art Deco personal style. This became key as I wanted to build and weave this into the brand identity. You'll notice that the design style has a navy blue color palette, which is the color of business, with an accent orange color, which is the color of Dutch royalty, and the entire design style is a premium, high-end Art Deco style design. I like to start here with the visual style so that I can understand how the company thinks and we can establish what this needs to look and feel like before I start building out the logo design. Obviously, the logo has to complement the rest of the brand's style, so we can't just have a logo design without understanding the rest of the brand style. For that reason, we started here, we built out this stylescape, and then we dove in to creating the Wordmark design. So based on this style, I knew there was a few things that we needed to do with the logo design. First of all, the logo identity needed to have an inspiration from Art Deco style. Now, even though that's the case, I didn't want the logo design to be purely Art Deco. We see a lot of Art Deco typefaces like this one, but the problem is they're deeply stylized. And if we're building a Wordmark that has to last for hundreds of years, we can't build something that's deeply stylized because it won't stand the test of time. Styles and preferences might change. That being said, we have to also give this Wordmark some sort of form of personality, something that makes it feel unique and memorable, because if it's not, if it's just plain text, there's nothing that customers can latch onto, nothing customers can remember that makes this unique. Uniqueness is what causes memorability, so we needed something within the visual style that would feel unique in this Wordmark, but I didn't want it to be too stylized to where this wasn't going to stand the test of time. Now, of course, knowing that the goal was to build a Wordmark that was going to be able to be used for generations, I immediately looked at some of the oldest Wordmarks in the world. A lot of these very old companies have to do with basic human necessities, things like food and drink and travel. You'll notice by looking at some of these old logos, the oldest logos in the world, in fact, that the Wordmark designs are all caps. And not only are they all caps, but they usually have some sort of distinctive characteristic that makes them at least somewhat memorable. As I began studying this more and more, I realized that one of the reasons for this is that lowercase letters change more often than our uppercase letters. If you look at the evolution of our alphabet, uppercase letters are more foundational. The shapes are more easily recognizable, and there's less variations. For example, think about all of the different ways that you can write a lowercase a versus the only one way you can write an uppercase A. I knew that having the word mark be all uppercase was going to be critical to the longevity of this word mark design. With those thoughts in mind, I set out to design the word mark from scratch. Now, because of the style that we had already decided on, we already knew that we wanted to use Geograph as the typeface for this brand. Geograph is a wonderful typeface designed by Kiln Type Foundry, and this was the selected typeface for the brand. So I wanted the word mark to feel like an iteration or a derivative of Geograph. But when I typed out Janzen Corp in Geograph, it just didn't feel very distinctive. And as we already talked about, we know that we need something unique so that this word mark can be memorable for a long period of time. Starting with Geograph as the base for the word mark, I began iterating on each letter form, utilizing the standard order for typeface design. This is just a quick side note, but this is actually the poster that I have right there in my office. Letter forms are grouped into different categories, and you build letters in this order from left to right, top to bottom. If you build your typefaces in this way, you'll find it much easier to build typefaces that look consistent because each of the letters is a derivative of the letter before it. So starting with A, I began building out each of the different letters in the visual style that I wanted. Now, one of the challenges with this logo design was building a word mark that was going to remain recognizable as our letter forms and our language changes. In fact, in 500 years, it's highly likely that the English that you and I speak today won't even be a recognizable language form. And if it is recognizable, it will definitely not be read in the same way that it's read today. Because of that, you have to think about the letter forms and the characters as general geometric shapes. How can we create something interesting using just the geometry of the letter forms? I knew that if there was anywhere I was going to be able to experiment with this, it was going to be the letter E, the letter P, and the letter R. While the rest of the letters weren't that unique, those were going to be the letters where I felt I could really build a little bit of personality and add a level of uniqueness into this word mark design. You'll notice for the E, I brought the middle bar of the E down quite a bit lower than it usually sits. And as I built the R and the P, I pulled inspiration directly from that Art Deco style to really make this word mark start to feel like it fit with that 1920s art style that the family really liked. Now, the whole time as I'm building this out, I'm playing with balance and I'm playing with the width of the letters, the weight of the letters, and I'm trying to figure out what feels like it fits the best. I kerned everything so that it was properly spaced, and then with just a few more tweaks, this is the word mark that we ended up with for Janzen Corp. The amazing thing about this word mark is that the letters are very distinctive. The characters of E, R, and P make this logo feel distinctive, but at its core, this logo identity is still very geometric. It's a combination of triangles and circles. One reason I believe this is extremely important is that as our language evolves and changes over time, our letters may look a little bit different than they do today. But by utilizing a very distinctive combination of triangles and circles, a future designer, hundreds of years from now, should be able to create derivative work off of this word mark design that feels like it still fits the same style. This was the goal, to build a foundational brand that could be built upon, evolved, and maintained for hundreds of years. On top of that, the versatility of this word mark is second to none. It can be used in so many different formats. This word mark could fit in real estate or technology or goods or anything in between. Its versatility while maintaining uniqueness and supporting the visual style of the brand is what made this word mark so incredible to create and craft. Hopefully you found this process as exciting as I did, and let me know what you think of this word mark design in the comments down below. Until then, I'll see you all in the next video.